This is you, is that me? Oh, it looks like it is. It's all of us together. This here is YouTube refined down to the pure essence. Here we are again. I, if I were a smart man, I am not. I would maybe try and find a little bit of extra vintage tastiness to install upon this carbon fiber magic we've got going on over here. Unfortunately, I've got plenty of experience with a 6900 kV motor as well as a 3800, and they're just a touch much. Although this one is gloriously smooth and pre-wired to a vintage Novak crusher motor control. I got this whole setup for 60 bucks on eBay. I'm just loving it. Now, I also have experience with a previous Novak motor and motor control. As you can see, we've got an EX series, which is rated at 8.5 turns. Very much too much. It actually roached an Edge motor control, I think. So, yeah, that was a problem. But here we are. What I'd like to do is get at least a little bit of a mounting spot. As you can see, I have installed the steering servo. Funny enough, even though this isn't necessarily a Tamiya, even though I found out that the battery strap from a TRF car goes right on it. My steering assemblage will have to be, for some reason this thing wants to have a narrow servo, like a really, really tiny servo. And I'm not sure if that's because it's made for super tiny or if I just don't have the mounting correctly. So what I have done is up under here, I don't know if you can see it quite well. You'll see the glinting of the blue in this vicinity down in there. There is a TRF, just an aluminum servo mount that I took a plastic servo mount off of a TA02, mounted one to the other, drilled holes this way, mounted the servo to that, to TA02, mounted it on the bottom there, because this thing's got some pretty wicked ground clearance. But what I'm looking at doing is I was stabilizing the servo from not moving, and I think I've got enough ground clearance there to not worry about it when I put drift tires and such on there. Also, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this motor and motor control and try and give him a decent home. But we got to get the sensor wire undone. As is traditional, they are not your friend necessarily. They're just there to... Okay, good. All right, so there is most of the motor taken off. This is really odd. They put, whoever had it put, like, because it obviously came pre-wired, but then they put these massive, and I don't know what this is. Let's see what this warning is. Use caution when operating vehicles, not unsafe manner around people, never cross battery wires, blah, blah, blah. Power capacitor must be used. Removal of factory installed power cap will decrease performance and void warranty. I'm assuming that these three power caps have something to do with that or could substitute as that. If you'll notice, this Dean's connector is like 8 miles long. We're definitely tightening that up. But look at this. I mean, Jesus, dude. Like, here, we're just gonna leave that and like power it from this end and motor it from. That's just ridiculous. So, I'm gonna start taking a little bit. I don't know. Capacitors have a tendency to hold juice, so I don't know if they've got it. You never really want to clip it all at once because you're creating a connection through your pliers. And if you short your pliers, it'll create a hole, and then your cuts will suck. Just FYI. All right, so this one's cool. It's got like some kind of a mode set button here, little tiny thing. It's a circuit board with a case on the back soldered to some like these are real super basic. Novak doesn't even, they're not even in business anymore. But they made some really raunchy stuff. And you'll notice that I got CB, A plus, and then obviously negatives on this side, sitting over here on the motor control. Why would I clip this off when it's already pre-wired and I hate soldering so much? 5,800 kVs is a little too much. That's 5,800 RPMs per volt. So on a 7.4 volt battery pack, or let's just call it an 8-volt battery pack, we're in some serious hoo-ha by the time that thing gets spun up and moving. So, oops, scratched it. That sucks. Oh well. Not bad. Okay, so instead we're subbing out because we know this motor control is obviously made to run a really high horsepower motor, 5,800 high RPMs, which draws a lot of amperage. I'm not looking for amperage, and in a drift car, you don't necessarily need like a billion RPMs. You're not moving at light speed. You don't want to be. You kind of want to just have a lot of torque and a good, steady RPM band that you can hold for a really long time, because drifting is like variety of speeds all the time. Most of these little brushless motors can be rebuilt. I don't know what the hell happened to that. That must have been something hitting it or bolting into it. But it feels like it's okay. We got a 13.5 turn. I should be describing this better. I'm sorry. I'm not such a good commentator. Novak's got these weird sensor plates where the sensor wiring comes with it just as such. I'm not necessarily dogging it. I'm just not saying that it's like the best thing ever. Not all that shielded, as they say. Let's see. Maybe, just maybe, go over to the old supply chain there, the supply depot, and get something a little bit more robust as some protection for this sensor cable, because where it's going is right here. It doesn't need a whole lot of protection, but it will be kind of hiked up just a little bit. Obviously made for a 540 motor, and it's got all this under space here, which is why I would go for a sealed can design. I usually try to, but some of the road racing stuff is just, you're not going to get that from me. So, all right, let's see if this makes a bit of difference as to how this comes out. It's going to be quite stiff like that. We'll figure that out once I get the motor control done. Okay, and you don't want to yank on those connectors too much. So we got a motor control, and then over this way, that you cannot see, beautiful little Spectrum. There you go. SLT3 transmitter and an SR315 receiver. This is a good thing because this little guy is tiny. I don't really have a lot of space. Also, I think this might be an antenna thing here, but I think we're going to end up going back here. It doesn't really give me a good feeling. Maybe right here. Maybe just right here in the middle, and then run this back. through the shock tower and then back through the shock tower again. So it'll just kind of sit there, and maybe we can put a little bit more stank on that. Get him back over here, maybe. Kind of all depends. All right, so we got enough sitting out there to where it can potentially, I'm not going to say it would, but it could potentially get into dangerous ground with the gear, although I don't think so. It'll probably just sit there. All right, so we're looking for a nice little chunk of double sticky foam stuff that comes with so many of these motor controls and model kits. A lot of them will come with double sticky foam stuff. Tape, I guess you'd call it. Double-sided foam tape. I've got a roll of this, which is like double-sided duct tape. Works very well. I actually need to get a bumper and some body mounts and a steering servo put into our TRF 416 as well at some point. Hopefully before we leave for a short little jaunt. That way we can take our cars. Maybe do some uploading from the road. We used to do that stuff. There was a huge big mess that happened. Thanks a lot, China. The hell are you thinking? Where was I putting all of my little double sticky foam tape stash? Ooh. Ooh. What is this? I think we got something here. Besides a glass of water. Okay. I think this stuff here is exactly what I was looking for. Scissors. Sometimes it helps to leave everything out. Just long enough to be effective. A little bit too wide to go that way, so we'll just cut off a chunk about yay big. If I'm not mistaken, this is like some goo that it's like a gummy, sticky stuff. Ooh, a little bit thin. A little bit narrow on the goo. Yeah, we're definitely gonna want to do that. This kind of sticky stuff kind of helps get yourself a little twist on. But as you can see, it's pretty solid stuff. Gets engaged into it pretty quick. A lot of these will have. I don't think I've got very few machines. Well, I'm sitting here stuttering like an idiot. I don't have very many machines that don't have a servo saver of some sort on them. And now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm not sure that I bought one for this. This could be a problem. Let's complete our battery strap installation. So it doesn't go anywhere. Magical. Just for that special lady in my life, she gets sexy purple anodized body clips and clips to, let me see. Okay, so that is going to need a touch-up. This piece here, too thick. So, get ready for a bit of noise. as I address this concern. Woo. Okay. Ooh. Okay, well, let's try. Let's try. We got some work with the grinder. Some happy little grinding on the edges here. Now you can see where they kind of been clearanced, right? We're talking about $4 or $5 worth of plastic parts, so not a big deal. And all right, so this one's got to come from this side. How do the French say it? A voila, a violet, violinga. Okay, so what we probably want to do. And these are all just tiny baby little torque screws. It's incredible. Oh, and they're serious too. Okay. I'm just going to sit back there. Well, I guess it'll sit back correctly in a place where we can adjust for it. Ooh, that'll sit snugly. Okay. Excellent. Let's take this one down just a little bit on this corner edge. I think the fan on the computer just kicked in a big way. Well, there we have it. Should be enough to clearance the body clip, or whatever you want to refer to it as. It is a clip of some sort. Alright, your little trimmings just push right through. Oh, hell. Let's flip that around. How does it read? Tamiya. Ah, good stuff. I'm not sure this is one, but we'll take it. Let's see. Excellent. Okay. Now, with just a little bit of love and tenderness, we now have a functional battery strap. So good for us. Let's see. I want a stand to bunch this wiring up on because we're going to have plenty of it. I believe that this is the only place for our motor and motor control to go. And since I want it to be kind of mounted like a so, and then we will maybe, okay, all right, so I think the on-off switch we can stick right into here. Just drill ourselves a little hole. I got a little tiny baby screw here that I've been noticing. It's just eyeballing me. So I'm thinking I'm just going to drill a little tiny hole right there and put the switch right on the side. And then we'll have enough room. Where'd my motor go? There it is. All right, so got the motor in there, and then these sensor wires, we're going to want to have this kind of out to the outside. Put it on this one spot, maybe a little on that one. So just like an edge kind of situation, we can have the wires basically run in the same direction. They're marked on the back of the motor A, B, and C. And then we got, oh, look at that. They literally go the inverse of each other, so that A, B, and C will line up in just three little nice, neat hoops. So this will be ended up being like a really close wiring build. And then I'll be able to take these three. All right, so I'll put that there. And then put this right. I don't really want this being too long. I'd rather have this come back across here, well, and not be in the way of the freaking radio. Let's see. Since we have so much extra wire, and this could go just right over the side of things, we could have this lined up here. And of course, the sensor wires up there. Put that all the way back. Put this up. These guys over. Power switch here. Sensor wire bundled and plugged in there. It's too bad Novak doesn't have like a disconnectable sensor wire like most of them do, because I've really got a few really short sensor wires that would work great for this. And then of course this is just ridiculously long. So I mean, I'm glad that they give you a lot of extra, but it makes it a touch much sometimes to deal with. And I don't know if I have, maybe I do. Do I? Is this what we're looking at? What do we have here? Let's see if I can get this to come apart like it's supposed to. If I remember correctly, these things were glued a little bit. I'm not trying to break the internal connector. What I need is a double male, because Novak gives you the pins, but not the... Ooh, dropping stuff. Whoa! Hey! Got me. It got me. They got me, boys. Oh, there we go. Look at that. What the hell? That ain't right. No, I need a double female, which is not going to happen with one of those. I didn't think so. Could have swore I had the double females prepared. Like just a couple of them. For occasions such as this, because I'd run into it with Novak before. Apparently not. And then, tally ho. Ow. I stabbed myself with a screwdriver. Shop safety, people. Shop safety. Alright, so if we put this, we can very easily make a zipping tie. I don't know if that's going to be... It's not necessarily a useful thing, because it's not threaded in here. This post is not threaded, which says to me that trying to attach it to something is probably not going to work. Ow, my thumb, it hurts so bad. Let's see. Let's try. Just do it right to the chassis. Zip tie, I'm probably going to just leave like that so we can kind of see where that's going. give enough room, and hopefully redo our little Dean's connector all the way back here. Take some more of this sticky goo, cut it into smaller strips, and then line the chassis with it. I have to take some of these guys over here and take some of these guys over here. And again, probably going to do something. I might just do it right across here. Well, I kind of want it to stand up. The reason why I want it to stand up is because when it's all on its own, the amount of RFI interference gets to be a real low amount, and I can tuck these wires down by making them nice and short and getting them to solder on there. Because now I've got that new soldering iron that works. So take these, tuck them down, get this up onto a stand where it can bunch the wires up and get them folded in wherever the frick they need to be. The steering doesn't necessarily need to be like that, except for right alongside them. And then that gets them away from the battery, which during the draw of the motor really does kind of make for problems. So, and I know it looks like just a complete rat's nest mess from where you're sitting, but look how fancy. Yay, drift car, vroom vroom. All right. Let's get to the point where we can say safely how much wire can be cut off. Let's see right here at the old Novak side. There. Sensor wire off to the side. And since I'm sure that this motor control is going to be staying with this car so long as they both shall live, you know, I can take and have at least a few liberties with where I put the wiring and how much I do to it, as far as cutting holes in it and mounting stuff and whatever. I can glue this right to the top of the steering servo where it's protected from rocks, and that where the naturally back position is where it's on. So if something smacks into it, it's going to be pushing it backwards so where it's on, so where it didn't hit a rock. And I've had them hit the switch with a rock and turn themselves off. Oh, let's see. And also, I need to handle these shocks. These shocks are a freaking mess. Like an absolute horrifying mess. They're almost so filthy, I just kind of almost want to leave them. Like, look at how trashed out that suspension is. And it's smooth too. It's very smooth. The front shocks are great. Back's like pretty stiff. Hasn't even been dialed down any. Pretty funky stuff. Okay. Here's what I should probably do. What time do we got? Cool. Plenty of time. I've got a sim race tonight at Imola. Formula 3 or Formula RSS V6 is what they call them. Something like that. Okay, so what we should be doing is getting ready to solder all this wiring up. Let's get this out of here. Well, wash it. This is going to be as close as we can here. A little bitty strip up there. Maybe even a little closer. Maybe just stuck right there. Or here. So if I cut them to here, we'll probably have to deal with less. And it don't mean so much. And then this one, interesting enough, on Novak, you can just take the radio wire. Got to remember, white is to the outside. And if I'm not mistaken, this looks like it's got its own fan power. I see a negative right there. I'm not sure. I'm not going to risk it. It's too old and I don't have the owner's manual, so I'm just kind of figuring this out as we go. and we're going to install this. Here we go. Let's take that much from you, that much from you, that much from you, and probably gonna have to get, let's see, we got our little soldering tire here. I remember that worked pretty well from last time. Get the sensor wire kind of off of things. Maybe I should take that off. I really want to unseat that. Look at how much fucking solder's on there. I'm going to try to do this without taking off the sensor assembly. All right, let's get the soldering equipment. I did not believe it, but this thing was $9 from eBay. So if you're looking for at least the potential to solder correctly, I was pretty impressed. It heats up correctly, and then you do the tip tinner stuff and kind of get your, hopefully I get these wires to really soak up some of this solder and such. And then of course they're going to be going like this, A to A, B to B, C to C. So we're going to want to clear out some of this space. Complex, and I'm not really a good solderer, so we shall see. We shall see what this turns into, and maybe might even put that like there to try and scrape off some of this solder first, and then we're talking about A, so it'd be like this. Oh no, it would have to be opposite. That's going to be upside down if I do it like that. All right, let's just get this stuff scraped off when it's ready for war here. See, this thing really starts cooking off pretty fast. And this little tip thing being all tinned up with that, whatever the heck it is, thermal dynamics or something like that. All right, so essentially what it looks like is that the solder's kind of going right back up to its home, which I'm fairly happy about, right on top of the motor mount, or the wire mounting, which is pretty cool. Let's get this last pile off of connection C. You can see when it goes all completely. All right, so now you can see that I got like 3 little fresh piles of solder up on top instead of 3 big lumps at the back. All right, let's get this thing massaged into place here. So we're dealing with some shortness here on the motor wire side of things. I might have done myself a little bit dirty on that end of it. Thermaltronics tip tinner. Bang, Thermaltronics. Good people. I don't know them personally, but they seem to be fantastic. Okay, so that's one wire I feel like might have some decent solder in it where I can get it stuck in that little pile. Seems like by kind of jamming this down in there with the tip tenor and getting it heated up, getting the tip tenor fuzzed and bubbling and kind of soaking into it. Yeah, I can feel the heat coming through the wire. Apparently, stuff is supposed to happen pretty quick, so you're not really kind of waiting for it to soak in all the way up the wire like I was doing on that other motor. I was kind of overdoing it. All right. It seems like there's some in there. I mean, yeah, it soaks something up. It's harder. It's not all fuzzy and crazy, and all the little weird tag ends that happen on this aluminum wire. Those are real thin strands. Don't seem to be doing their thing anymore. So let's see if I can get this lined up and just set down correctly. Oh God. Haha. No wonder. I had been holding the temperature button all the way down with my pinky. Oh wow. That's kind of hot. All right, we're going to go for 425 Celsius. I was wondering why that thing wasn't heating up. I was like, oh, good. All of a sudden, I killed my $9 super toy here. I guess it'll take another minute or two for it to heat up, maybe. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, mama. Did we just get one? Oh, yeah. See, for some reason, it just feels stronger when this thing gets done. This is a really interesting deal. I didn't ever think a $9 soldering iron would be so able to do the job. I guess technology is just improving more and more every day. Holding this all together and doing it correctly is kind of a beast, but at this point, I'm pretty stoked. Let's get this heated up just a little bit. Ooh, right there with it. Oh man, God, this thing does really good work. That's surprising. That's stunning for $9. It's so much less of a fight. Like, I want more tip dinner. I want more. I want more. Give me more. Holy shit snacks. Will you look at that? That's almost like I had a plan and it worked out. I can't even believe that. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a professional auto mechanic being stunned. I'm not even kidding you when I tell you this is literally a $9 soldering iron. And if I'm not mistaken, that piece of crap that I had before, I actually bought from the tool guy. Jesus Christ. Are you kidding me? God, dude. That is just sick. Oh, I love that. I'm totally doing that 15.5 turn motor again. I'm completely redoing that whole wire. I'm going to pull those off, get another strand of this white Tekin heavy gauge wire, and I'm going to completely redo it. If I would have known it was going to go together so smooth, I would have put heat shrink here. But since this thing's just going to be like this, I'm solid. Oh my God, that was so easy. Whew, okay, I'll bet that's how soldering's supposed to go. You know, as it were. For most people, that's probably how it does go. There's probably people out there like, duh. Sorry, I use connectors. Crimp on stuff. Easy, easy, easy. Oops. Well, see, I just did that. And I'm going to have to put this probably a little bit outboard. That's all right. That is okay. I was kind of hoping to get it in the other direction where I wouldn't have to get all these wires anywhere near the battery and motor wires. But I am okay with this. All right, sensor wire in place. I like to do those like gently a little bit at a time because they're kind of, I had one get crabby on me and it kind of spoiled my day. Let's see here. So we're going to be, let us bring the model back out here and to focus. We can focus right here on these. Make sure that the motoring circuits are okay. Most of you won't understand that. Some of you sim racers that are watching will probably understand completely. Okay, so if I go to the outside, that's not going to work. Now that I've got a whole new soldered setup together, this thing's going to be out here somewhere. Okay, so I need to take the sensor wire, run it under the motor wires, because that's going to be there, that's will be over there. All right, now that I just got the sensor wire connected and fully seated, let's remove it and start over, as is tradition, of course. And this will, of course, be the one that's like super snug fitting and tight. So you're going to want to be extra careful. It's going to hit you, Go ahead and start wiggling it out as much as you can out of the slots that it has. Thank you. It's just totally what I wanted to do to this thing. Immediately upon arrival, this showed up today. So I figured, why not? I mean, we should totally shred into this thing before it gets a moment's rest. Welcome to your new world. This is your life now, being cut, resoldered, molded. Okay. So there, the sensor wire is now been seated in the allegedly correct position. Radio wire as well. These will go up top and be bunched accordingly. They would be bundled. That's a thing. If you bundle things. All right, so the motor wires are nice and sexy short now. All these control wires are ready to be tied and zipped and plugged in, all sexied up that way. Should be fun. There we go. You here, you there. Where's my little doohickey here? Ah, gotta have a starter button. Let's tuck him under there. He's not going to go there forever. And then, oh, look at that. Now the wiring, if I tuck this into this zip tie past this post here, I suppose we can just tighten that down just as an example. I can cut it off later. As you can see now, oh, it's cleaning up nicely. I love the way the motor wires are falling, because we're going to have that just hanging up there, and it will be maybe even cocked out a little bit to the outside. I don't even know. I don't even know. There's so many possibilities. Cool. So what we're going to need to do, probably need to get some motor mount screws, don't we think? Shouldn't we think? Should we start to think? That's the question. Should you even begin to think? Because you shouldn't be thinking. Get it out of your head. Knock it off. Oh. Aha. I see. I would prefer something a touch shorter. How are you able to accommodate me? Bench of many wonders, how will you feed me the parts I need? Are they in here, my special parts, my bolt of right sizing? No? 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 I got a bunch of stainless crap over here, a bunch of gears. Gear sets. Still got the parts from that TA04 waiting to be reinstalled. But now that I got my soldering game going strong, I might just pop in and do that. See, look, short sensor wire, shield it totally. Thank you, Novak. Can't use it. Pardon me. Where in the fuck knuckles did I put that shit? Oh, well. You see, folks, kind of hoping to find 2 of these screws, you know. But what I might have to do is take the 2 that I have and washer them correctly. Let's see if I can dig in here and get a couple of washers, shorten up them bolts, or even one of the bolts that I was looking for, because now that I'm looking, I see, aha, Have I found that which I seek? I have. Excellent. Okay, this is where your Loctite kicks in. We don't want to do it yet, actually. What am I doing? Because we haven't even picked a gear. I have to figure out what. Oh yeah, this is freaking close. Here's where stuff gets funky potentially because I don't have the ability to even to like the car. So the gears that I'm using, I'm just praying to the gods above. Oh, it's kind of tight fit. Okay, so we got a 26 tooth that looks like he's warming right up to the idea. Ooh. Ooh. We got, what are you? This one looks like a 20 or 21, something like that. He's just happy as can be. And I think we may just as well stop there. The 26 was a bit rough. And this 20 is pretty well good. Okay, so I believe it's 20. I don't really care necessarily. It's not like we have to be an exact anything for this. This has got like a little catch, some goober catcher kind of. Oh shit! Don't drop that. These pinion grub screws are extremely like difficult to match up sometimes. You can get lucky occasionally, but it's not a guarantee without having to buy a whole new gear. All right, so a little bit of that. Let's put him on the right side of this. All right, up against here. All right, loosening, sliding, loosening, sliding, having to sliding back. Lovely. All right, in there, a little bit out. Let's go right there. It's pretty. No, it's not. Okay. So I'm going to try it there. Kind of a weird fitting grub screw. A little bit different than the Allen. Okay, so now I got these guys. Definitely want to put some goo on them. That's probably enough goo for two. When we're making goo, it's good to make it for two. Why not? Share your goo. Let's see. Would it be somewhere there and there? Holy shit, that thing was deep. Deep, deep. Can we get in there? Oh, it is. It's actually about. Okay, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna have to do to get these screws like totally tightened down. Oh my god. It's like a massive amount. Let's see if we can get into the can without screwing this up. Yeah, not even close. It's bottoming out. So, oh god, I didn't notice something. The screw holes are slotted where we can get really short screws in there. I didn't notice they had a groove cut in there. They are groovy. They're groovy and pre-ready-fied for some for some motoring wonderfulness. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I can use these stainless screws. That should be fun. Okay. And how about through there? Ooh, we got glory be, stainless screws it is. I don't even know where these are from. They came from some thing, part of some kind, probably. Yeah. There we go. First screw, motor mount screw. Excellent. That's like way too much. Put it down in the goober tray down. Ah, no, crap. That's got actual goobers on it, and that's not good. All right. Okay, so looking for maybe here. Okay. All right, so closer. Sorry, I'm not talking. This is like high focus stuff here. I need to get this thing. Just too much. I think that for a drift car should be doable. All right. Can we get into the other one? Look at that. Maybe. Uh-oh. Okay. Now, I'm assuming because of the Loctite on the motor screws, we're not going to be needing to readjust that too much at all. So, what I'd like to do now is get this yeah, you have to be like this. That's fine. I don't want it to gain heat from the servo, so I'm going to try and put it away from the servo, but that's going to bind the motor wires up. Like they're going to be trying to push it that way. It's wanting to ride right up next to that. So we'll see how well this this gooey stuff does at holding this thing on. Honestly, I could put it like that or like this. Put it right on top of there, actually. Be up clearance from the motor and stuff coming up, rocks bouncing underneath, stuff like that. But well, I think we're going to go right here and we're going to just rock it out like that. That's going to be how things go. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to put, I really don't want it to sump heat from the freaking steering servo, but those wires are going to dictate that that stuff pushes over. So if it just kind of sits over next to it, I guess it's not such a bad idea. Maybe even put a strip of this stuff down on the bottom of the steering servo. So I'm going to do, there's two of these? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So here's what we're going to do. Put this. All right, there's one of those. And then we're going to put like one of those up on the steering servo. And see if we can get away with that. Okay, so this one here. Over there. Piece of number 2. Put that on. Oh. All right, so we come down like a so. Oops. All right, so squish to the side and squish to the middle. Give it a little twist. Give it a little rub this way and that. I think we're there. Okay, so let's take something cool like this and see if it can just bolt right down into a carbon fiber chassis. Okay, well, that's obviously not what I was hoping for necessarily, but it can, so by technical definition, we're good. If I use a locking nut, I might be able to turn this around, maybe unplug this guy for a quick sec. Okay, so that's screwed into there. Oops. And now what I want to do, put this up here. Okay. That there, and where did I see him last? We can go ahead and pop this on there. I'm going to have to take the ball end out of it because these came pre-installed with some ball ends. It's just like a little tie rod end, but it's just a loop that you can screw onto your chassis and throw a couple zip ties on. Because when you want to take this stuff off or take the whole chassis down for repair or bearing service, stuff like that, clipping a couple of 5-cent zip ties is a little bit easier than the alternative. All right, so take the ball end out. Oh, and that's just screwed down as tight as my fingies will like it or take it. Let's see here. These guys, put this guy over here. He needs to go over there. We're gonna put these guys. Screw this stuff down. There's probably 100 different ways that pros or somebody else does it that's better, smarter, whatever. But all right, steering is to this over here, and then we've got markings of positive, sensor, and negative. So black to the outside on the steering, rock solid. Okay, and we're gonna go black to the outside on what they deem as the throttle control. All right, so now we got this. We got the battery strap done. We're gonna need a servo saver. I think I might have one sunk somewhere, hidden away, as it were. It's not so hidden away. It's right here. I could probably make this work. Scissors on the floor. It's where they belong. All right, so these I don't know all the markings on, but I do know that yeah, that's the end of the actual number. So I don't know if you can actually see that number. That's the part number that they are. It's pretty fancy. Gonna need to find a screw for the steering servo. What this thing is a multi-piece aluminum steering servo, a high torque steering servo. A little metal ring that takes the twist and turn bits. Another little part that looks to be, ooh, that's metal. Okay, so that's aluminum. That goes right on the servo horn, and then this little cap that goes out to the outside so that the screw can go through and bolt into your servo, which is usually just your standard kind of 3mm screw. So let's turn this around. We got a clip going that way. I like to point the zip tie ends down, the ones that you cut, down somewhere where they're not going to catch on to people. I hate it when you do that. So I like to have them nice and trim. Trim your cable ties, people. Trim them up. All right, so that is just kind of stuck down there, just as close as that's going to get. I don't want this stuff vibrating any of the connections loose. It looks like everybody's not touching any of the heat sink, which is kind of a concern as well. And then now we can take a small drill bit and knock a hole into this little knuckle. I could probably, I wonder if I could do that. That would be kind of funny. Just put it right through the knuckle hole here. Oh man, okay. Well, let's see if I can get that to go. So this is having trouble because the hole's not quite big enough, but it's like just barely the thread kind of hole size for a 3mm screw. So that is through. And I wonder, the edge of the servo is just kind of sitting there screwballing it. But it does actually fit up against that knuckle in such a way that you would want it to, it could actually go. So, oh wait. All right, let's see. Oh, All right, so the knuckle doesn't quite do what it's supposed to on that one. Like the switch will fit around it, but not where the hole's centered, not where the bolt can go through. So let's take this out. We have to do the same thing on the shock bolts. Just take them all off and let them hang up somewhere. But like I said, right now they're all cockeyed and weird bolted and stuff like that. I might just leave them. I think I'm probably just going to leave them. I know it sounds a little bit rude, but it's not the main thing of what I'm after on this one. Drift cars to me are a little bit more, well, I don't know, rugged or rough. They don't have to be so I don't want to say well put together, but they just don't. They don't have to deal with the same kind of stresses and stuff that some of these other cars have to deal with. So it's not the same. It's not the same setup. It's not the same kind of deal, and they don't have the same requirements. So, all right, let's put this tire off for a minute. Oh, blue lug nuts. Oh, let's see here. All right, since we threaded the motor control switch, we can take it and kick it off down just that way a little bit, or we can put it up this way, but I'll just stick it down here. It's kind of there. Stick in there. All right, so there. We got a motor control kind of hooked up to where we can reach up under the body and grab a hold of it. I know that's not necessarily like the cleanest install, but again, I do not have original parts for this thing. I don't have the ability to just wing out there and grab whatever it takes to get this thing set up. So I'm not trying to butcher this car, but I don't really have a whole lot of choice about what I can install when what I've got is what I've got. And you ain't gonna be finding a whole bunch of other stuff kicking around for a car this age. I do not believe. I guess I could try and take a look and see if I could figure out, what the, there we go. Is this the right size ball connector? Oh shit. You see there? Tamiya going to town again. All right, so we got this little Tamiya knuckle, or is it? It is. Yeah, I tried to machine that to get into a HPI and it didn't work. Didn't work on one. It'll surely work on this one unless the threads are screwbally. They are. Okay. What I kind of need is here. There he is. Hopefully this is not too big. Might be a little big. It's a touch much. Okay, so we're probably going to have to redo that, but because this little bronze one or brass one has the right thread pitch, it is therefore the winner. Oh, soak that down real tight. Hopefully this isn't going to be an issue. It's probably going to be an issue. Not so funny. Let's see here. This guy. Ooh. Loosen him up a good chunk. Put in a bunch of Loctite there, Loctite here. See if we can't. We have to undo the switch. This is where stuff gets funky. You just kind of got to fit plate things where they go. And if I got to swap the servo over to the other side or something, that'll just be how it goes. Oh crap, and the servo's stuck to the motor control too. Sexy! Making it happen here, people. I wonder. I'll take this one out and rotate the servo. I might be able to rotate it into place with the servo saver on it. Ah! Ah! Okay, let's see if this fits. Now the issue is in doubt. Alright, so that's not happening the way that I wanted it to. This is gonna be a problem. Oh, steering. You always just give me the best of problems to solve. Let's see which size this is. Oh. But I got everything mounted. Is it that big or is it not? There we go. Hey, quit rotating. Rotating. There we go. If you can just see fit to come out here for a minute, please. Now, as I have dropped many pieces and parts, I have to kind of start over here. Okay, let's have a little prop. Proppings. Proppings is a car. Take this. Oh, goody. Here we go. All right, so we're going like this. We're going to go like this. This, and hopefully this goes on there far enough. Uh-oh. Let's see. This isn't looking good at all. Uh-oh. Oh, dearie me. Okay, so, well, you know what? You know what? We're not sunk. We are not sunk yet, folks. Do not give up. What I need to find is an actual, like a regular steering arm, not, and then verify what size we're talking about on this servo. I thought it would be a regular 25 spline, more of the usual kind of assembly. Not sure if Spectrum thinks otherwise and has carved it accordingly. But I do know that a generic steering arm should get me somewhere in there. 23? Can't be 23, right? Negative. Negatory. Well, we might be at a sticky point. need to find the correct steering mechanism for this little beauty. And what I think's gonna be is just a regular steering arm, which I have here, but it's not the right size. Although I have to say, haha, it goes right on. That's nice. All right, so if it was on there and it was like this and it was sitting there doing its thing, it definitely fits, but it doesn't actually work for that. Let's. It's one of those arms where you have to like tighten it up onto everything. And I wonder if it would just clamp right down on there if I had another one to work with. These are the choices we have to make. And I could have swore I had another one creeping around here somewhere, because I had gone away from using anything with solid arms because they were breaking all my servos and chassis, and it was doing damage on a major scale. So I had to cut that program off. And yet, here I am, faced with what seems to be the only choice left. Shit. So junk. Can we take this junk and make it work? Well, I don't know. This junk's pretty junky. This is some pretty junky junk here. I wonder if we can get one of these to go. If we can get it double bolted, we might be able to justify doing something like this. Because the drift cars does not take as much hell when it comes to the steering as far as like hits and whatnot. I wonder if that could work. Let's. Alright, so it's a little bit off on the centering. That's about where it should be, I think. Oh, loosen these back up. These little things don't make a very good clamping kind of deal. They just kind of make it able to clamp on there. But they'll strip out or break off at a moment's notice. So it's like, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be like the best. Oh, and now it wants to squeeze together. Seriously? It seems like it really won't. All right. Okay. Now, take this little short screw, save that other servo saver for something else. Take this short screw and jam him in there. Tight like. Yeah, see that one's right there in the center. Now that that's on there tight, we take this, tighten it up. Take this other side set screw, tighten it up. And hopefully that stripped out aluminum arm will be able to turn drift tires without jacking everything up. There, it should be able to do that. Should be able to do its job once. And this is going to be the fun part. Once we get it sanded down. Okay, so it bolts in, it fits behind there, it moves as soon as we clearance it. And they'll go from the back side. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yes, I think so. All right, so undo this guy. His colleague on the other side. Their friend on the front here. Ooh. Son of a bitch. Well, it's going to be there at some point. I'll have to freaking deal with it. Once you get this thing done up like that, it just kind of strips right off. And there goes a little bit more of that beautiful aluminum. Aluminium, as our British friends would call it. Okay, get ready for some noise. To polish this thing off. So I will be back with you in a moment. Compressor might come on too, so plug your ears. Ooh, aluminum transfers heat so well. It's very hot. Damn it, dude. Stay. You fucking bastard. You stay where the fuck Pliers tell you that they're pliers, but aren't really pliers because they don't hold anything. You really must know this is what I'm doing. There you go. You see that? Did you see that, people? Now. Noun. Alright, so we got the little crappy one that don't work, but it's the right size for the ball end. Or we could do a tie rod that totally don't fit. We could do this, of course. Now that we got that fully tightened in there, it'll be great to pull out. Love it. We could cross thread that one into the aluminum doohickey here, which would be totally awesome for it. This one. Right, so still a little bit warm and toasty. But we got that milled off to perfection, or something close to it. All right, back in with everything. Screws, bolts, glue, schmuckums, monkey puck, the whole nine. Blood, sweat, blood, guts, the whole nine. Pus, a lot. Whatever I'm trying to say. Okay. Perhaps it could work. Oops. Oops. It doesn't work very well. Okay, so the real option here, the steering gets way close. Way close. I only have one other truck that's got a micro servo in it, and this looks like we might be in micro servo territory. But really, why do I care? I don't need like a full-size servo. Just don't need it. I mean, technically this will function because it clears the tower, so to speak. So it would work. And would that be enough? All right, let's see if I can get this to hook in here for long enough to be kind of straight somewhat. All right, let's see. Bring this down. Ah, caught it. So down here somewhere. Aha, so the end stop, where this thing is like literally done, is right about the end of the travel where it would be allowed to travel before the ball end smacks into. Oh, I think you can go on there. I think you can. I think you can. Aha! You got on there. Aha! You did it once. I know you can do it forever now. All right. So, what can we do? We've got this radio. This fancy. Where the hell did I put it? There it is. Radio. Oh, it does. I can back it off. It's got like a steering end stop where it'll end to that. Okay. So what I got to do is basically take the ball end off of here, pop that back off, remount the servo, put the ball end off of it so if the servo moves like too far, it doesn't try and break itself or the ball end off, and then adjust to where it only has certain amount of steering movement, and that will get us completely squat away in that respect. Here, I'm going to take this. Excuse me again. Has some delicious hot wings. They're fighting back. They're fighters. There we go. Oh, look, and I cut it right where the ends are still soldered a little bit. That makes me happy. All right, so we got these, and we want to go through here basically like this, and have, as you can see, the positive is kicking up in a little bit of a I'm now the longer wire complaint. So as they go and fold that way, now we're going to strip here and here. Very nice, very complete. I believe these are small enough where you can use some blue. Blue size butt connectors. Oh, let's just find them. Okay. There's a pair. And then we'll get some of this. And some of this. And some of that. Okay, so I want to shield all of this stuff nice and well. So I'm going to put some heat shrink over the ends. All right, there's those. My convenient wire pliers. Do the side on the connector first, or the connector end first. Damn it all. All right, well, blue is not the size. These will be done in yellow. Very fetching yellow color. Which, of course, changes the sizing scheme of our heat shrink. Because yellow's big, bulky. Well, maybe it shouldn't. Maybe it shouldn't. You might be able to get it to work. Yeah. Let's crease in that. And a little bit deeper. Hey, get that one punched in. Let's see here. I'm gonna try. Of course, I went ahead and tossed that stuff like it wasn't going to be used. Mistake. Let's see. There, and hopefully I don't think it's going to work. It's not going to work, people. Let's line it up and get some different ones cut. And they look huge right now, but they will end up shrinking down considerable. And I'm going to go ahead and clip this little zip tie. It's just kind of a test guy. Go ahead and get this. Plugged into place. Whoa! If properly sealed and installed, a butt connector can offer a lifetime of service. Screw it up, however, it'll give you a lifetime of hell. And weird electrical gremlins that you're not going to enjoy. So, my suggestion, install correctly. And seal them up from the world. Alright, so we got this guy. He's pretty much a pain in the ass at this point because I got a bunch of solder in there. So what I need to do is I need to get that hot with it. Oh, hey, goddamn it. Of course you had to freaking go out. Of course you need to go out right when we're using you. All right, excellent. Now let them cool off a little bit. Ooh, those are so hot. Bring this up here, bring this up here. The heat shrink butt connectors that I have are automatically dropping their own little glue and schmuckums in there to seal up the connection. This added layer of delicious heat shrinking will end up getting everybody snuggled down in place, and there won't be any kind of water or anything that can get there. It takes a minute for this big stuff to get in there. You don't want to, you can see it kind of charring and whatnot. It's not necessarily a huge deal, but not the best option if you get it a little too close like I just did. So here we are, magical. Now we got a wire impact for a battery, and it can be held in. I need my zip ties. There we go. By something as simple as 4 cents worth of plastic. So put it down through, hook it with a fingernail, drag it up. Put these, you can put them on the other side of the post. I'm just going to put them on this side. That way we're right there with it. There. There. Now, as you can see, it's not going anywhere. It's not interfering with the steering, which is nice. Okay. So it's not getting in there interfering with the steering at all. You can see the clearances in there are pretty good. So now I can feel comfortable taking the steering servo, mounting it back up, and getting in business with, yeah, I think actually we can do that. What I'm kind of curious to see is whether or not This thing has the ability to stay still without the extra bracing on it that I had, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. This one might not be the right screw. Yep, no, I think this one's the wrong screw, and then this one is the right screw. But you gotta have it on the screwdriver. Okie dokie day. Alright, just as a temporary measure, that'll go right there. It is up off of here because of the way that that stuff mounts. And now we're talking about that being turned and probably able to drift. And I don't know, it'll definitely be moving, so it's not like I can plan for that. But as far as the beginnings go, because now all right, so as you can see now, we'll have to get this mounted over here somewhere kind of cool, but there we've got, kind of sad you don't get to see the logo on the crusher portion of it, but I think that that is fairly clean. And as far as the drift car goes, we are almost to the point of firing this bad boy up and checking it out. To be honest with you, I guess I could. I just don't want the steering servo to come all crazy. So before I turn it on, I will get that definitely solved a little bit better, because right now it seems like it's working pretty good where I've got things. And if that knuckle will hold it enough, I think we're in business. But I don't know. I may have to end up switching this servo out to get a micro servo because it's so narrow. You can see on the bottom how much of that steering, the full set, it's a regular servo. Okay, so, and if you're get a low profile, stupid. Why don't? All right, fine, stupid. Here's a brand new aluminum low profile that's going in a racing car. So if you look, see how wide that is? Okay, so there's not anything that this thing can do, because here's the bolt. Okay, so here's the other hole for it. You see where the normal servo is. Yeah, it ain't gonna work. Although this low profile seems to be rather with it. See, that's what's troubling, is that this thing doesn't have the room. It wants you to have a steering servo that's mounted like directly underneath the drive shaft. So it's got to have an offset leg to that side, and when it does that, I guess maybe it could. I might have to be doing some working on, I don't know, getting this thing figured out as far as like, because that bolt comes up right underneath the damn drive shaft. It's hanging out there too far, because the low profile is just about the same width. The bolt holes are the same width as this full size, so that when you get it, because like, I know it looks like it could go over a lot more, but the drive shaft right in the way. So if I have to get a micro servo, just a little tiny baby one. There was my bag of steering arms that I was looking for. Plastics. Guess I could have made it out of one of those. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at one of those micro servos and see if I can't get one of those coming. I found out which drawer I put my Sidewinder short course motor control on. So I think when it comes to this carbon fiber chassis that I'm doing, TA02, I'm probably going to throw a short course truck module at it and make a road racing Lancia 037, like a Benetton Jolly Club 037, I think. Pretty sure. But as such, I think it's about time. Yeah, goodness. We've been here for a while, and I have to get practiced up driving a racing car at Imola. So I'm going to cut it off here. As you can see, this thing is progressing quite nicely. I might have some changes to the shocks, like get them put in the right position or something cool like that. I might rehang the rears because they're looking especially toasty. The fronts seem like they're okay. Maybe the bottoms need better mounted or something. But overall, this thing's coming together really, really good. I got a 13.5 turn Novak motor and a really, really tough motor control. If this thing was made for 5,800 kV, it's definitely going to take a 13.5 turn and spin it up nicely. So we can take this monster and put it over here in the monster box where all these kind of things go. Don't you know? Now I've got all these super, super high RPM motors and nothing to put them in. I might have an associated B4 buggy that they can go in. Maybe. We'll have to see later on. Maybe like a Mamba X motor controller from Castle. And yes, this is me climbing up on the bench. What I'm looking for is supposed to be up here, and I don't see it. Somehow it is missing. Oh, very shortly, oops, we're going to have to start working out the details on the body work for this glorious little drift car we're building here. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Bingo. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Lamborghini Super Trofeo with obvious, if you see the chameleon, it's been thumped on because it's a drift car. So, but as it stands, let's check out and see. Front body holes are a little funky. Looks like it lines up pretty good on the wheelbase. Rear body holes and fronts are just a little bit off everywhere. So it'll end up needing new body mounts or new body mount holes. So I'll try and get these adjusted to the point where they're able to poke in there somehow. You never know, I might be able to just force the issue, bend a little bit. There we go. See, it just kind of all depends on whether or not you're actually willing to dick around with this stuff and just push it together. Now, obviously, it's not going to deal with rims like that. We got a set of purple aluminums with. Where the hell did I put those? These are drift tires. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Drift tires. What are you talking about? You see this is rubber? See how this is squishy and malleable like a little tire? See, I don't know if you can see the muscles trying to work. I'm not actually trying to break my hand, but this stuff is definitely So you can play the drums on this shit, and it just slides around. On concrete, it slides around really well. And then you'll wear the tread off, but it makes it look like you got real tread. And as you can tell, we're talking about a significant size difference so that it fits down in the wheel wells of our lovely Lamborghini. So it's time for me to cut off this stream and get on to some practice, get to be a better sim racer. And I think we've gotten far enough. We've got a radio, we got a motor control, the gear mounted, bunch of work done on the steering, and at least some discovery found out whether or not, I can force a full size I can butcher one on there and just chop the car up, or I can find one of little micro servos for like an 18th scale car or something like that. And then after that, we're only looking for perhaps, you know what? I wonder if I could just mount this down to here. I could actually put this on and have the switch way back here. So for right now, I think I'm going to do that. I'll just put the switch back there through one of these holes. There we go. Well, these already pre-chamfered holes will take a beveled head screw. Like so. Okay. And you can tuck that down, or actually it'll rub on the ground, so you don't want to do that. You can actually zip tie it up against there, but there you go. You see, utilizing this little screw hole here, but it kind of hangs this out to where you can get it smacked into, as well as like this circuit board here is hanging over the edge. It's hard to get the angles right. I'm like doing everything opposite. So that can provide damage if we're not careful, but for right now, just as far as like a first look where everything's going to go, I kind of like it. The switch itself says on and off, and on is in the back position. It's mounted pretty much correctly. I kind of dig it. That's not really too bad. Motor control probably looking good. Yeah, I like it. I like where we're at. I'm going to cut it off there, head back in, do some practice, have some dinner, etc. I got a race tonight, so it was very nice getting all this done. Thank you for subscribing. If you have any wild-eyed, crazy-ass ideas for me to try, I guess you can comment. You type something. You type one of these in, and it'll be on the internet. So there you go. It's great to see you. If in fact you were here, come back again.